Hello, and welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. I am so happy you could be here, and I'm just going to get everything set up. We have so much to talk about tonight. It's almost terrifying, really hard to keep up with, as I'm sure you know. So if you're there, please say hi. Don't be shy, and we'll get started. So welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. This week's discussion is, hi Moppy, hello, hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here. We have a lot to talk about, so don't be shy. This week's discussion topic includes anything you feel is newsworthy about racism, bigotry, and inequality in America, and that's pretty much everything. So sad to say. This show is meant to be an opportunity for viewers to speak their mind, and it's to serve as an educational tool for viewers to educate white folks who want to learn the truth about racism in America. So before we get started, I will tell you I am Angry Soccer Mom, Kim for short, and I host, Pat, I'm so glad you're here, Pat. Thank you for being here. And if you are here, please say hi. Don't be shy. This is a very informal show, as you probably know. So say hello. Thank you so much for being here. I'm okay. I had a little incident earlier today, but let's just say I can't hear out of this ear very well. I don't even want to say what it is, but I may be going for a little trip to the doctor's tonight, but I'm fine. I'll just, I'll live. Anyway, I host this Angry Soccer Mom YouTube channel and a bunch of other online communities, all geared towards trying to educate white folks about the truth about systemic racism. And yeah, I know, Pat, it's not good. I'm such an idiot. Let's just say if you see anything right now, I'm just kidding. It's fine. The topics that I have included for tonight, and you can add anything you want. It's normalizing hate in America and ways to stop normalizing hate and and ways to, this is like a really touchy subject tonight that is just a little bit overwhelming, actually. Buying justice, Epstein, the connection between Trump, Epstein, and Acosta. And it's a really, really sick one. And I have some very strong personal feelings about it. He's a convicted child molester and rapist, but it's not pretty. And I want to know what you think. We can talk about a little more about, but I will talk to you later when we talk. Okay. Oh, you have to go? Nails and glitter. Hello, white people. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Okay. So I'm just naming the stuff that I'm going to, you don't have to go. Good. I was like, don't leave. I need you. Okay. More about executive overreach, terrorists on the border. And I'm not talking about people who are Mexican or South American. I'm not talking about them. Black hair discrimination and a law that California's made that should have been don't even make me go there. I will freak. And I have so much to talk about. I don't even know where to go. I have questions about reparations. Was that a charade? What was that supposed to be when we had the House? When everyone, Congress was listening and talking about reparations. What the heck was that supposed to be? Just kind of a, okay, we heard bye and never again. I don't know. And then also, what can we do about turning our nation or not turning our nation into a regime? I know that's been a big concern of mine. I'm not sure if everybody else is worried about that, but I think we're going down, and it's not good. So I'm going to do a quick rant, and then please jump in with any topics. There are so many this week. It's like out of control. Lots going on, a lot to do with basically continuing to oppress and marginalize anyone who's not white and fairly well off. So it's not good. White America needs to step up to the plate. And this is our problem. A lot of white America doesn't realize this is our problem, but it's going to impact every one of us. If it doesn't already, it's just a lot of white folks aren't noticing. And we need to really research and notice what's happening. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, because the 1% wealthiest elite in this country, thank you for your service, because white folks in America in general do nothing to stop systemic racism, nothing at all. And it's pretty much going to destroy our country. So just my take. My rant today is about normalizing the inhumanity that we're experiencing and kind of like theories about it. I want to hear what you think. I mean, do you have any theories about why it has been so easy for this man who is incredibly cruel to kind of come into power? So sometimes, let me just say something. Sometimes an extreme example. Oh, I'll take Pat's question. Well, to be honest, I think they're deliberately turning their attention off of reparations and focusing on this immigration thing with the Mexicans. And yeah, I think you're completely right. Absolutely. There's definitely been like a diversion. It seems like there is with everything. It's Trump seems to create a problem and then become the hero to solve it, or ignore it. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, how this becomes normalized. It's like, next. He's really, this isn't pretty. This isn't good. So I'm just saying. So yeah, Pat, I definitely, it's very, very frustrating. We'll definitely get into that. Let me just see something here. Make sure I'm on the right track. As I suspected. Let me see. 1 second. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm losing my mind. I'm not just losing my hearing. I'm losing my freaking mind today. Oh my goodness. I'll just be 1 second. 48, 40. Okay, maybe I'm on the right track here. I hope I am. I just want to make sure I'm on the right page. Okay. So those are the topics for tonight, plus anything. Pat, I'm willing to bet you that they will give them some form of payment for them coming here illegally. I'll take that bet. What are we betting? Just kidding. I understand that you feel that way. And one thing that is Les, hello, thanks for being here. That's a deal. I don't know what we're betting though. But here's the thing. And I'm not accusing you of this. This is not my place to accuse you of this. I am not accusing you. But I see a lot online of, uh-oh, I'm in trouble now. I see a lot online of people comparing one group to this group to the other group. I want to make sure. And I guess it's a pretty bold opinion of mine, but this nation's a wealthy nation. First of all, this nation's like a wealthy nation. We can give equality and equity to everybody. Lakeisha, hello. We don't have to pick and choose. We have people who served in the military on the streets. That's a choice. Okay, we have enough money to take care of them. We just don't want to. And that's something I've learned over the last 10 years that is devastating. So yeah, just spit it out. I think a lot of times people say, well, this group's taking away from me, and this, I can tell you which group is taking away, and that is the wealthiest people in the United States who are getting tax breaks and are billionaires and are getting away with literally murder. And we'll talk a lot about that. But that's kind of my take, is like, I see a lot of that online where people are like, well, it's those illegal people. No, it's our government. We're doing this on purpose. That's just my take. But we have enough love for all. And the whole thing about reparations is just an awful, awful thing that our government's doing, in my very opinionated white opinion. So we'll talk. But anyway, okay, I'm going to scooch down and find where I'm at. Moppy, everyone came here illegal except the natives that were already here. So true. So true. Lakeisha, did you hear about the migrant children on the border? The media is denying the truth. Oh, did I ever? Did I ever? No, it's unbelievable. And we'll definitely, that was going to be my topic today, but it's like really strange. People don't really like to talk about it. And it's kind of sad. This is really, really not good. I just want to grab something really fast here. See what I have. Let me see. Almost there. Okay. Let me just see. I got to get down to my spot because I lost my place. Kim, what most fail to realize is that Blacks didn't ask to come here. Our people were forced, so there's no choice in that matter. Absolutely. They were forced against their will. I mean, like kidnapped, tortured, yeah, absolutely. People don't get it because they think, oh, well, so many generations have gone by. It's like, first of all, no, they haven't. And second, people, I get what you're saying. Exactly. They don't want to realize it. They don't, that's just my opinion. They don't want to. This is why reparations is critical in our case. Absolutely. And how about putting an end to systemic racism? How's that? I mean, I don't know. The whole thing is just overwhelming. But absolutely. And also what people don't realize is that you can't take a huge group of people who literally have been tortured. I second that, Pat. Been tortured. Tortured, murdered, raped. I mean, do I have to name it all? No. And then go, okay, you're free, go free. And then re-enslave. And then do black codes, and then do sundown towns, and then do all these 666, redlining, and do everything in a human's like capability to, Michael, you can't do that and have the people come out kind of like normal. Oh, okay, I'll just go raise kids and, just do my thing. It's like, oh my God. So like it does, if you can't read just one little thing, if you weren't allowed to read, the next generation, how are you going to help the next generation? If you're just booted off of your farm that you were enslaved in, how are you going to help? Like, you don't have a job. I mean, what are you going to do? Just people were walking. I mean, it was like a huge migration. So it's really, really tough. People don't want to think about it. It's hard to think about it. It's a horrible thing. So anyway, I got to find my spot here, or maybe we will do without a rant today. Wouldn't that make everybody happy? Because I was rushing like crazy. So I see. Okay. Pat, you still have the notion that they still have the notion that Blacks are lazy. How is that so when you're working in a cotton field? Yeah, people who say Blacks are lazy are being ridiculous. There's no group of people who are lazy. That's absolutely ludicrous. The whole thing is, there's a lot of propaganda surrounding it. There really is. When people say that, it's just an excuse because they don't want to face what happened here and, all that stuff. It's not, it's ridiculous. We've had a lot of practice with this. So, Moppy, if Black people were 13% of the population, then why is reparations a problem? That's a small group of people, right? Are Black people really the minority? Something doesn't seem right. They're numerical. They're numerical minority. So I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Less. Hello, Leslie. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what you're asking. They're numerical. One of the reasons our government, I've studied this a little bit, doesn't want to do reparations is because, okay, our government doesn't even want to stop systemic racism. So it's like they don't even want to stop. I mean, our government has studies that show that systemic racism, our own government that shows systemic racism. They don't want to stop that from happening, so they sure as hell don't want to do reparations. Does that kind of make sense? Let me see. Michael. All right. I'm going to get started on how Trump lies and normalizes hatred. And this is just a theory. Oh, I'm not trying to ignore you, Michael, but I can't answer for him. I can't answer for Pat. And that, like, you guys are welcome to discuss anything you want. I'm going to go on because I got a little off base at the last show. It was kind of a disaster. So I'm going to go for it. Oh, nails and glitters. The Jews get money for reparations when we didn't oppress them, but that's okay because they're white too. Oh, you're asking me to ignore you. I could never. Oh, okay. Yeah, they did get reparations, the Jewish people, and they weren't even here. And then they got them again, most recently. So yeah, Martin, hello. Thank you, Michael, for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks. I can't believe you came. Okay. Let me see. Martin, America is going backwards. It has been since Reagan. We are bordering on being an authoritarian state right now. Mitch McConnell has blocked all bills passed in the House from even getting a vote. Yeah. Yeah. And part of the thing is, again, I will ignore you, Michael, but reparations have nothing to do with you. It's about the system that we have. It's not personal at all. I mean, it might be personal to you, but all right. So here's my rant about, kind of a rant. How can Trump get so many people to blindly follow him? He's a very bad, mean man. He's horribly racist. Everyone knew that he was racist like crazy before he ever wanted to be president. He did some really bad things to the Central Park Five, which we've gone into a lot, really bad things. And okay, sorry. Okay. I understand, Michael. You should not watch this show. This is not the Reparations channel. It just happens to be up lately, like, because it got brought up. But actually, today's topics are very different. So here's the thing. Everyone knew he was kind of like everyone in New York seemed to have known. This guy has like a serious reputation. So why are all these people following him? Why? They just think he's cool or something? I don't know. Here's the thing. There's a little bit of a theory that I came up with. Trump's constantly lying to confuse Americans into kind of normalizing all this lying that he tells in order to get away with doing what he wants to do. And I have a theory on how Trump is able to accomplish this, because I'm constantly trying to bang my head against the wall going, why are they listening to him? Don't they understand that it's not, he's not helping us. He's helping the wealthiest elites who have a lot of money, and he's giving them more money. And the middle class is really, leaving fast, and our country's going downhill, just going downhill. So here's my theory. He basically, and it's not like a brilliant theory or anything. He basically screws around with all these lies in order to get, away with his stuff, because everyone's so confused, because nobody wants to do research, real live research. Mr. F.S. Black, if you can't, oh, okay. I'm not going to get into that conversation, but definitely you can have side conversation, no problem. That's what we're here for. I have no problem with that at all. So here's kind of how it's done. Trump puts out his story, which is usually like the opposite of what's true. And then, which, is the opposite. And this causes a percentage of people to just believe that the truth is actually kind of somewhere in the middle. because he denies it so vehemently. He's like really denying it. This essentially makes the truth kind of like negotiable, like the truth is negotiable to a lot of people. So when we want to believe authority, we want to believe all that, it's kind of human nature. Like we want to believe parents and teachers and government. So by lying about pretty much everything, Trump's kind of given reasonable doubt to real facts. So now suddenly nothing's really just a fact. Well, people have trouble getting passionate about gray areas. Well, did they really say that? Did they? Nobody's going to be like, I'm so mad, because they might have, could have, maybe, possibly. See, it's hard to get really, really mad and really, really like just all crazed about something you're really not too sure of. We like, as humans, we like very black and white, like A to Z. So gray areas are hard to get passionate about. And Trump knows that creating distrust in the real news is a great way to undermine stability. And I'm fairly certain he also knows that this is a great strategy for dictators, because he's not the first one to do this. This is not original stuff. Martin, Trumpsters, they are poor and angry. Capitalism is failing them. That is not acknowledged. True. That is a really good point. It's not acknowledged. They're pissed and they're right. This is Martin. Thank you, Martin. In favor of blaming those over there, scapegoating immigrants, people of color, racism. Yeah, it's because I guess maybe they blindly trust in our government. I'm not sure why, but I want to know what you think. Like, do you know why these people follow him like this and won't listen to, like, kind of Mr. F.S. Black? Our society is one big gray area. Yeah, it is, and it isn't, though. I mean, definitely that's true, but fact is a fact. I mean, I think part of it is that he has confused people who really don't want or have the time, because they're working their ass off maybe to, just stay above, keep their heads above water, and not lose their house and not, whatever, and just make ends meet. They don't have time to really research it. So they cling on to an extreme that they think is like good. And then once you do that, you're kind of, Gary, hello, you're not late. You're just in time. Once they do that, it's like, once your kid lies to you or something, it's like they have to kind of keep lying and keep lying and keep lying. And then you're like, oh my God, and it just kind of gets more and more and more. It's because people cling to, oh, no, Chris, welcome. Hello, thanks for being here. Jump right in and tell me what you think. And conversation on the side is absolutely fine. I'm just going to stick with, the topic stuff, but jump right in. So yeah, so it's extremes. I mean, they're confusing people. Here's an example. The perfect example is Mike Pence. Mike Pence with his climate change. Pence claims that the Trump administration is following science on climate change. And I have a video online that is like, oh my God. I did this video for this channel, and it's pretty much, it's an embarrassment. And it's one of the first videos I did that had Trump in it, because he is so confused about climate change. Oh my goodness. Or at least he's acting like it. And our nation is one of the biggest problems with that. And so he just doesn't get it. We're not trying to lower. We're just trying to keep it stable. It's too late to lower it. That's what all the experts say. But anyway, so Pence says we are following climate change science. But you see, he's not, because 98% of all the scientists in the world believe that climate change is very real. I mean, ask anyone who's in a nation that's like underwater right now. So they really aren't following science. They're following the minute percent of scientists who are paid by the oil industry. Are they trying to block out the sun? I do not know. I have no idea. Well, you mean like, are you talking about the stuff they put in the sky with I wish Neil was here because he knows all about that. Mr. F is black. That's why I find it ironic. So many people think everything is black and white instead of looking at the gray. And you know what, Mr. FS Black, you are 100% right. And part of the problem is that we have kind of taken our capitalism and like made it, it's not just our economy. It's kind of like our lifestyle. Everything is about money. Well, gray areas don't pay well. Hi, guess what? Let's pretend I'm under the nose. I think there's someone who might have possibly done something wrong, so we're going to look into it. Okay, next story. I mean, nobody wants that. People are thrill seekers, and they want to hear this, so, and it's a competition. So it's tough stuff. Martin, there's a huge embedded racism in our population based on the suburbs, rural areas. This is why I don't go to the suburbs. Totally, I understand. We have some serious issues. I think they're cultural, personally. I think that we like to espouse two wonderful things, but we don't actually want to do them. They're all really great ideas, but we don't really want to actually do them. So it's troubling. And especially people who are grew up very, very poor and struggled very hard and are white and didn't see every benefit they could have if they were wealthier or middle class. They don't understand a lot of times the reparation stuff and just all that. So this is what he does. He found scientists who work for big oil, and of course they're willing to lie. So Trump yells fake news, and the truth is no longer a fact. Trump's agenda delegitimizes the truth. Is that even a word? Did I just make up a word? So, and I'm not really sure what to do about it. He has these people completely hypnotized, I guess, or kind of like indoctrinated into their cult, I guess you could say. And it's really scary because I think it's too late. I think this election, honestly, it might be too late anyway, but this election is going to be it for us, I think. And I'm not like the soothsayer of doom. I'm not an expert in the field by any means, but just, boy, it's not looking great. Not looking good. So how do we stop normalizing hate? How do we do it? Well, I read a few articles and I got a couple ideas. So if you have any ideas about how to stop normalizing hate, throw them out there, because I think education is huge. Pat, the level of racism in this country is just unbelievable, and Trump made it come to a head. Yeah, absolutely. He did. And it's kind of funny. Some people, not funny, but it's pathetic. Some people think that, the one thing he did was show the real, like, people are like, oh, this isn't my America. Oh, yes, it is. It's your America. Well, white folks sometimes say it's absolutely your America. You've just started to notice. So that's like it's a tough thing to be thrown at somebody. But yeah, so it's almost like he's closed the cognitive dissonance gap, because there are a ton of silent supporters, and they support him for one thing and one thing only, because he gets it with the racism stuff. And they might not be loud, but I'll tell you, there are, and how do I know this? Well, it's because I work with white folks like every day, talking to them about their beliefs. And nothing's changed, We're just all seeing it right now. Us, whiteys in the suburb or whatever, are most of us. And I'm talking in groups. I'm not talking like individuals. I don't know what your personal experience has been if you're white. How do I know? But it's easy we're as segregated as we were in 1964. If you don't know anybody well who isn't exactly like you, and that goes for sexuality, orientation, skin tone, religion. If you don't know someone well who's Muslim, where are you getting your information? Lo and behold, our media. Well, I'm sorry, you don't get religious information from TV. It's just, you have to go there and talk to like the experts. So, and I know you all know that. Noah Christ, I believe they're trying to block the sun so they can charge people for nutrients. Oh my God, I hadn't heard of that, but geez. Never heard of that. I'll have to look that one up. Yeah, she can tell you if that's what she kind of meant. Pat, there is a reason why they don't want black people to have money. Absolutely. Tell us, educate us. I mean, I have my ideas of it, but tell us. You're living it. So yeah, tell us what you think. That's what we're here for. I want to know. I agree, Martin says, the 2020 election is it. It will be the turning point in America. Yeah, it really will be. I don't think this nation can take another 4 years of him. I really don't. And nails and glitter. Oh, yes, it is. And I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I'm going with it because I'm so slow to read the comments. Sorry. Martin, no Christ, the Egyptian matrix. Haha. Okay. So here's the first thing, and this is so obvious. So jump on in so I don't bore you to death. But the first thing you do to make sure that things aren't normalized is you educate people. You educate them about our real racial history, about all the ways our government legally held Black people, brown people, indigenous people, mixed people who are mixed ancestry back, held them back. And what, might you ask, is the difference between what happened there with what happened to people say, oh, the Irish were slaves. Well, you know what? The Irish can mingle and look like they're white, okay? If your skin is tan, you cannot, okay? Also, when it comes to Black people whose ancestors were forcibly enslaved and put in a non-human status, there is no comparison, none, zero, to any other group. No other group for 400 to 500 years was tormented and tortured and enslaved. I mean, so you can't bundle everyone together. Sometimes you can, but the truth of the matter is Black people in America, see, when people who are racist look at you, they just see Black. So it's kind of a weird thing. There's a lot of sociology to it, but there is no other experience or no other comparison to what happened when what we did in this nation, our whitewashed history, our real racial history. So, and I know exactly why they won't pay, but I'm not going to say because this isn't all about me. You can jump on in. Okay, everyone on the money were slave owners, okay? Explain that. What do you mean? Mr. Evans Black, the media for a long time has tried to convince us that Trump is such a great businessman, yet he spent 10 years in the red. Yeah, I don't think he's a good businessman by any means. He's really, it doesn't seem like he is. And if he was, he'd show us your taxes. And it's the whole thing is, yeah, he's people who aren't doing bad things don't hide stuff. It's just kind of common sense. Neil, so happy you're here. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. So here's an example. The first thing people can do is obviously get educated. Most white folks have no freaking clue. They have not a single solitary friend who is not their exact religion, their exact skin tone, their exact socioeconomic level. So how would they know? It's been said, and it's been consistent, that 50% of white adults in America think we're in a post-racial era. Like, wow. So I always tell the white folks that I work with who are beginners, take what you think about racism in this country, multiply it by a gazillion, no such number, and you might be slightly getting close. Gary, my friends are incredibly diverse, online and offline. 10 plus religions, every skin tone, straight and LGBT. It's not hard if you just smile and say hello, honestly, of course. Gary, you are amazing. That's why I adore you. You like walk the walk, for not trying to like overuse that. You do. It's amazing. And when I first started my very first, long ago, I did not have a single solitary friend who was of the Muslim faith, not one. And I'm not like, oh, I'm so great. I'm just, the facts are the facts. I didn't have a friend who was of the Muslim faith. So what I did with my little son is when I started hearing all this, like, you know, things starting kind of going downhill, like around 9/11 and all that, I took my little guy to a mosque. And we made an appointment and we spent 5 hours there. And it was an incredible experience. It was an incredible experience. And he left, he was like, God, he was like 10 maybe. And he's like, Mom, this was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. And I'm agnostic. I don't have a religion. I don't. So we went down there and we asked them the hard questions. We really did. We asked him about terrorism. We asked him about all the rules. We asked him about the Quran. It was amazing. It was a very enlightening experience. And they spent 5 hours. I'm going to shut up now. But anyway, Gary, that is awesome. And honestly, if everyone did that, we wouldn't have a problem in America. People are just like afraid. And I get it. If you're afraid to meet, if you're a white person and you're afraid, or you're a straight person and you're afraid to meet like a non-straight or a person, if you're like a Christian person and you're afraid to meet a Muslim, you got to go with the statistics. Most of all these people are not going to do one thing to you but be your friend. You have to just fight that fear. Being anti-racist doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you're dedicated. If you're in the numerical majority group, you're dedicated to doing what it takes. And you're going to have it's going to be scary. But once you realize that they're really humans just like you'll be like, I'm safe. And, and then you'll meet more people like that and more. And then you'll be like, it's no big deal. So, I mean, it's scary at first, but you've got to fight that. You got to fight that. And you'll meet some of the most incredible people you've ever known in your life. So I'm just saying, I mean, I get it. Now I will shut up, I promise. Pat, now what was it I told you that was on the back of the nickel? The Monticello slave plantation, right? Well, it's okay to show that they owned slaves, but it's not okay for a slave to be on the money. Yes. And there is an investigation by the place that's actually stopping it. Is the weirdest thing. It's like if your little kid is stealing candy, it's like having them investigate the stealing, basically. Why it's postponed putting a person who's black on, Harriet Tubman on, and it's ridiculous. It's all because of racism. Let's be real. I hate people who are like, oh, we just don't know why. Yeah, we do. We know why. I'm sorry. It's everything in this country, I believe, goes right back to white supremacy. Follow the trail, the money, everything. Yes, Pat, 100%. What Pat was saying, and what he said a couple times in this talk, is that thing on the back of the nickel, he told me, I didn't know this. That's not the White House. I thought it was the White House. I never really thought about it, because I'm white. I have privilege. I don't have to think about it. Now, that being said, I think about a lot of other things that are, but it's true. I could go about my day not noticing a thing and not caring. But instead, and I'm not like, oh, I'm such a martyr, I'm such a savior. I do it for me because I'm disgusted. I do it because I can't stand knowing that I brought kids into this world. Sorry, and this is not what I signed up for. Okay. And yeah, that's my privilege talking, but I'm going to use my freaking privilege to try to help. And I might help one person in my whole life. So be it. I'm not being quiet. I'm not saying nothing. I'm not watching while my fellow humans are tormented. I think it's terrorism. See, I just getting on a rampage here. Today was kind of an upsetting day. Yeah, Martin, I think Trump is still in the red on his businesses, and that's why he ran for president, to make money. Oh my God, totally. Yes, yes, yes. I think he ran for president to make money because if you'll notice, his family is making tons of money. Jared and his daughter, and he doesn't want to show his taxes because he doesn't want to show his taxes. I'm talking, he wouldn't show his taxes. He'd rather not be president than show his taxes. That's how adamant, because he knows he's going to be screwed. He's not a good man. And I don't mean religiously speaking. I mean, have you ever heard him get interviewed on Howard Stern? Or actually anywhere. He talks about eugenics. I mean, this guy is, and this is before he was president. He doesn't understand the stuff he says. Videos are forever, like people say. He's what he did to the Central Park 5 is unconscionable. What he did with his apartments, he'd rather pay the fines and the fees because he's a wealthy guy than actually dare to let a black person rent from him. I mean, this guy his father was in the KKK. He was arrested in full garb. And there is a picture in the newspaper and an arrest certificate or whatever they call it from the olden days that Vice News found and showed the public. But a lot of people are like, oh, who cares? Well, kind of matters, since we're in this country that we're espousing like liberty and justice for all, you know, like maybe. And it's not for all. It's never meant to be for all, and it needs to be. Okay, I'm going to stuff a sock in it. Let me see. Martin, I think, yeah, he's definitely, I'm sure he is. Moppy, America will lose World War III. This nation is cocky right now. Oh, yes, we are. You know what? We have been resting on our laurels. And I want to know, this nation, there are so many nations that have so much better equality, better this, better that. But we'll never know because we don't talk about that. We're ethnocentric, we're egocentric, and we're blah. I want to travel. I want to see this stuff. Have I ever read Birth of a Nation? No, but I know about it. I've read about it, and it's been basically credited with helping to perpetuate racism and all that. If you want to tell anyone about it, jump right in. I would love to, but no, I haven't, but I've read about it. And it's kind of a major turning point, or a major continuation point for our white supremacy in America. Great question. Really, really good question. Let me see. I'm skipping people already. Let's see here. Pat, I still have to tell you about the money history I told you I was going to do. Okay, yeah, I definitely want to hear that. I want to get you on here, because you really have done a ton of research and stuff, I can tell. Martin, Kim, a Muslim kid drove me around, Izmir, Turkey, back in 1983, and we went to mosque and several other places. This was perfectly normal back then. I was in the army at the time. Martin, that is awesome. That is so awesome. We always have to dehumanize and vilify. And we don't always vilify the right people. I mean, we just pick a group and, you know, and it's not by accident. Think about what the most murders of mass killings have taken place in the United States. It's not by Muslims. It's not by brown people. It's not by black people. It's by white guys. So, I mean, the whole thing is like information. I feel like we're like George Orwell, 1984. I remember 1984. It's supposed to be a long time ago. But absolutely, Martin, that is awesome. I love hearing stuff like that. Life doesn't have to be this way. It's a choice. And if white folks, I don't think white people are saviors. That ship has sailed. We've had hundreds and hundreds of years to do the right thing. And we haven't. And when I say we, sure, a trickling here and there have, but in general, we haven't. How do we know this? Because we have systemic racism now, ongoing. It never stopped. Slavery morphed. It never really ended. Read the 13th Amendment. Lakeisha, the majority of Black people own the whole continent, meaning we own the Caribbean islands, even in Europe, Australia, Africa, India, Germany, Greece, Denmark, Netherlands. Tell me more. Tell me more. Because Lakeisha, you always have amazing information. I know it's very, very global with the systemic, you know, the racism and stuff, but I mostly focus on the US. But yeah, educate us. The people who are viewing are here to educate. I don't know more than anybody here. In fact, for most of this, I know a lot less. So I count on you guys. Pat, I sent you an article on white supremacy. Oh, the white supremacist lady that was over the housing authority whose daughter's boyfriend is Black and she had a daughter. Yes. Okay. That is huge. Pat sent me, and I was not able to prep for it due to some issues I had at home. I am going to do my research on that and find out what the hell. And what it was, Pat, oh my God, it was a horrific, the most extreme case of blatant, sick, murderous racism, short of basically somebody putting a gun to someone's head and say, you're Black, I hate you, die, and then shooting you. It was, I'll just like briefly describe it because we're definitely going to get into that. Part of what I do, and I know I have to kind of like do a disclaimer, because I'm a white person doing this, I'm extremely careful. Black people don't trust me, and I don't blame them. White people usually hate me because I'm talking about the real history, and they get really defensive. So I have to be kind of careful. When I saw that, I was like, doing, my eyes, like, I couldn't believe it. It was basically, and correct me if I don't want to tell the story wrong, basically a woman who works for, I guess it's the social service, like was she a nurse, or I don't remember what she was, but she was something where she works with the public, like a social worker maybe, I can't remember, but it was not good, was swearing her butt off at this kid of hers because her child had a boyfriend who was Black, and she's a white kid. And apparently the mother kind of went psycho. She was screaming and then the father took out a gun and shot him, tried to shoot him, And so the kid was like hiding in the car, and then she texted him to go, and then whoa, then the kid took the car and went because he was terrified. The guy actually shot at him. So I mean, this is got it all on film. Oh my God, horrible, horrible, horrible situation. Which brings me to the question of, I feel really strongly that if you are a white person and you are working with the public, and you could use your racist ideologies and turn it into discrimination. In other words, put your ideologies into action, that you have absolutely no place working with the public. I mean, think about it. Right now we have police who are overtly racist. They have a gun. When they see a Black person, all they have to do is say, I'm scared because they're Black. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, it's like putting a teacher in a classroom who's like a child molester. It's like, you can't put someone in the job that is like the last thing where they should be, yet we do it. And it's disgusting, and that's how we continue systemic racism. We all just pretend. It's crazy. Let me go back. Yes, that article. Oh my gosh, I have to get into it and really, really look into it. It was terrifying and shocking. And we've all seen tons of stuff. I was like, what? I actually played it 3 times. I couldn't believe it. Martin, there is no liberty and justice for all. That is only reserved for the people with money. And white folks often get the benefit of the doubt, whereas everybody else doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. And that's the minimum. From there, it just gets worse and worse. So yeah. Mr. MS Black, I read an article about a teacher who was fired when it was revealed that they were secretly hosting a white supremacist podcast. Oh my God, you guys, these people, and you know this, they're everywhere. They are everywhere. And that's a big thing. A lot of white folks, they're looking for sheets and crosses and people using the N-word. No. It's gone covert, like it's always been. It's de jure versus de facto. There can be laws all you want, but ever heard of circumventing the law? Make up stuff. I did not want them hired because they're Black. No. They just, I just didn't think it was a match. I mean, you can do de facto segregation your entire, no one can read your mind. I mean, it's a real gaslighting thing. It's really bad. It's really, really, really bad. And nobody who is white, unless they're like a proud KKK, ever admits to being racist. So anyway, so yeah, here's the thing. Pat, and the daughter was texting the kid saying, go, drive off. He's going to kill you, basically. And I would have driven too. And yeah, they're trying to make it like he stole the vehicle. I mean, this is such bullshit. The father shot him. He missed. And this kid was terrified. So, I mean, you can turn anything into anything you want. Like with the Epstein case, his charges ended up the first time being something like soliciting a prostitute. That's not what he did. He was a child molester. I mean, it's such bullshit. You can make up shit. That's what we do in America. We make up shit. So yeah, great points. Mr. Mr. FS Black, and these white supremacists recruit young. Yep. And again, like we've seen, the recruiting techniques used by white supremacists, like my friend Thomas, who's come on a bunch of times and done interviews, and is actually going to probably come on here and do a little co-hosting. He was a former member, I guess that's still, he was a former member of the Aryan Brotherhood in prison. And he's a white guy, and he is an incredible man, and he's going to come host here. And I want everyone to talk to him, ask him questions. He's changed his life, and you just wouldn't believe it. It's amazing. Nails and glitter. They tell you to your face they aren't racist, and in the same breath say racist propaganda. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's, you know what, nails and glitter, they don't understand what the word means. They don't understand it on a systemic level. They don't understand the propaganda. They don't understand the stereotypes that were purposely put out so that people who are white, middle class, and socioeconomically, having a rough time, never unite with Black, brown, indigenous, and yep, covert versus overt racism. Lakeisha, thank you for that. Yeah, they never unite and basically come together and say, we're done. We're done. Every numerical minority in the nation, if we all got together and said, we're not doing this anymore, and united against the ruling elite, there'd be no stopping real equality. So the people who run our nation, the little oligarchy of wealthy people, they got some stake in this. Boy, do they ever. Yeah, nails and glitter. Absolutely. They'll tell you to your face. They don't even get what it is. Because, I mean, I work with the beginners. They'll say, I don't even see color. And you're like, what? And they're like, I don't. And what they're trying to say is, of course they see color unless they're blind or colorblind, but even colorblind people can see color. They see color, but they work on it to not discriminate based on their implicit bias. No, that's not exactly what they're trying to say, but you know what I mean. They're trying to say, I see color, but I'm cognizant of the fact that because racism exists and implicit bias exists, I try to fight it. I think that's what they're trying to say. But instead they say, I don't see color, which is they don't see you. And they don't get it. They just need education. There's just so many things. But yeah. Somebody said white people invented locks. Oh my God. That's kind of terrifying. Okay. Lakeisha, covert and overt, right. Pat, now they are trying to find out how many people this racist woman had in her cases that she denied for housing. So it's a big issue as well. Yeah, Pat, I like it personally. If we take cases and go back, just like they did with the Central Park 5 and how that was, it was a setup. It was a total setup to get those kids to be guilty. Ooh, I like that, Gary. I'm not colorblind, but I'm not blinded by color. Did you make that up? I want to use that. That's actually really, that's a really cool. Mr. SF Black, I don't trust anyone who says I don't see color, because that means they don't care to see me or my plight as a Black man in America. Right. And it means that's the level they're at in the anti-racism continuum. And that's kind of I don't say like a low level, but it's pretty low level. Not as an insult, that's where they are. They can go from there, but it's a pretty, and oh yeah, Pat, and you have a right not to. Hey, if I was a Black person, I wouldn't trust a white person as far as I could throw them. Sorry, just saying. And I'm not, so I don't know what it would be like. I will never know, ever, but I will always work towards knowing. I'll never get there. I will never know what it's like, but I'm very dedicated to trying, and that's the best white folks can do. But we have a lot of white folks who aren't really trying. Have you ever called your people racist to their face? My people? My people. Oh, you mean my people? Who are my people? Oh, you mean Oh yeah, you know, yeah, no, I educate them, and oh yeah, you mean when I'm on my, yeah. No, what I do is okay. There's certain people. Great question. There's certain people who are like nobody can help. I mean, they're off. I can't help them. I can only help people who want to be helped and want to learn. And I'm trying to be patient with them when they learn. Like I don't just go, you're a racist. I probably never said that, but I will say that is racist ideology, and that is how. I mean, yeah, I've essentially said that's, well, if you see my videos, that's, I have one whole video on classic cliche denials of racism in America, and it has top 10 most, you know, basically the propaganda that people believe, and they don't go any further with it. So that's the problem. But if you go on my, I mean, I've been doing this for years. You'll see threads and threads, and I try to educate them, try to get the right person in, try to do all this. Oh God, yes. Oh yes. People, this is what I do, Lakeisha. People get really, really mad. But the thing is, I try to explain to them, yeah, nothing triggers a white person more than the word racist. In fact, that's one of my, oh my God, I swear I want to show you. One of my videos has that, because it's true. It's true. Pat, when it comes to blacks wanting to do better for themselves, white supremacists can't stand it and will do all they can to stop it. Yeah, it's kind of like, kind of an obsession. It's the weirdest thing. I don't get, but yeah, absolutely. It's like I say, think, if you're white, think about what you think racism is and multiply it by a gazillion, and you may be slightly getting close. We are, this nation is we are drowning in systemic racism. Drowning. Yeah, they get really, really upset. What I do, this is my method, I guess you could say. And no one told me to do this. It's just, it's human nature. I give a person a piece of information, okay? And then I let them go kind of freak out about it. I don't throw too many things at once at them, because there is an order of operations. Remember, a lot of white folks are living in a fantasy land. So when you try to bring them into the real world, it's kind of upsetting to them. They have to kind of admit that, like, they've been lied to their entire life by school, whitewash history. Their parents lied to them. The government lied to them. Everyone lied to them. Their basis for their like personal ideology is completely wrong. So you got to so you just let them fester and sit on it. Let them sit on it. Let them digest it. And then you give them something else. And that's kind of what I do, because otherwise they'll just run, because it's too upsetting. Okay, Lakeisha. Oh wait, oops. Yes, Lakeisha. Racist equals benefit. Oh, from the original people of this planet, Black people. We are the owners of this planet, so we deserve reparations. Yeah, and also a lot of folks don't understand that we're like a mutation. White, like whiteness is a mutation to survive, because it was Black people were here first. They were, Stevie, hello, thank you for being here. Yeah, we're in this like heavy conversation. The Black people were here. They were the original people. And that's what the human genome study indicates. And so technically we're all a little bit Black per se. It's melanin. People just don't even understand the whole thing. It's science. It's science. We're all in one race, the human race. Where does it start? Where does it end? I have a friend who has a Black mom and a really dark Black mom, a really white dad. They have 2 kids. One is like white as a ghost, and one is completely brown. Like not tan, I mean brown. They're both their kids. Where does it start and end? Race is a human construct, and that blows them out of the water. And forget about talking about white Jesus wasn't white. That's a whole nother, there's a lot. Pat, you got nabbed on that. I wonder, oh, you need to see the movie Hebrews to Negroes. Okay. I'll definitely, there's a lot of things I need to do. I'm so behind because there's so much. Pat, I owe you big time because you have been trying to teach me and I just have not been around. It's just, I have a crazy life and I work like constantly. But anyway, yeah, we got some issues here. So the whole thing we're talking about is how do you stop all this from being normalized? And it's education or traveling the world. And traveling the world's kind of expensive. And we're pretty damn ethnocentric, American-centric in this nation. We don't get it. Other countries are being more humanistic than we are. So, and we're supposed to be this like liberty and justice for all and all that. Boy, we've just allowed it to slip by, and we haven't lived up to what this nation could be. And that's really, really sad. And now we're at the huge pendulum swing with this nationalism. I'm sorry. It's racism. Okay. Yeah. Nationalism isn't take care of all your people in America. It's take care of all your white people in America, and not even all of them. If you're really, really poor and white, screw you. You're not, you get white privilege, but they're not taking care of you. So it's basically, nationalism doesn't mean, oh, you just want your country first. Now, you want your white people first. And I'm sorry, that's just the truth. I like to tell the truth. Yes, Pat, the black people that are in America are the true Israelites, and our identity was stolen. Yep. And I'm learning more and more about that. And I'd like to, at some point, when I feel like I'm really, really good, do a video on it. But I'm not ready. I have to know something like, I'm kind of hard on myself with that. I have to really know it. I can't blow that. And that's such a big, big thing. So education. And also, it's imperative that our leaders, our public figures, anyone with an audience, get their ass out there and talk about racism. Get their ass out there and talk to their people. And don't be wishy-washy. People, anyone who has an audience, I don't care if they have 10 people. If you have an audience, and I'm talking about white folks, okay? Yes, there is literature on it. I know, Pat. I'm like reading 10 different things. Stevie. I was watching George Carlin, and he's always ran it down about America's bullshit. Yeah. I don't follow him, but I've seen a couple of his things. Tell me more. Is he good? Is he pretty good? Like, I like people who keep it real and don't. I loathe bullshit. Okay, I'm sorry, I just said it. I was raised with a lot of like total baloney. I don't care if it hurts. I'd rather be hurt by the truth than have someone lie to me and make up crap. And I hate that. It's kind of like justice. I'm like really, really crazy for justice and all that stuff. So I understand. BS just drives me nuts. No, Pat, no sugar coach. You know what? It's so funny, Pat, because I don't mind being nice. I'm not going to be like rude, but he is Stevie. Good. Okay, cool. It's good. I'll have to check him out. I don't mind being nice. I don't have to be rude. I want to be teaching, which some people find rude, but it's because they don't like what I say. But and sometimes I do sugarcoat it if the person, I try to meet them where they're at. And that's a very bad practice. It's not considered best practice for a white person to allow fragility. Okay. But my group specializes in working with the beginners, the lowest level. And if you don't meet them where they're at, they leave. They just leave. He calls out white America on their nonsense. And I love that. And every stinking person who has an audience in this country should be doing that. And I'm talking about white people. Andrew, Carlin is still amazing. Awesome. I didn't know you were here. Hello. Thanks for being here. But that's just my take, that if you're white in America and you have an audience, it's like the Spider-Man thing, like with great power, because we do have white privilege and comes greater responsibility. Now, did I just make that up, or is that the right saying? It's close. And if you have an audience and you're white, you have a responsibility to help our nation be for everyone. And we're all going to benefit from that. see our educational system were based on lies. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I had to do all the research myself. Wah. I didn't learn all this in school. Nothing. I actually learned very little. And my husband learned even less. I mean, and one of my kids learned a ton, and then it just depends where you go and what state you're in. What state you're in. Yep, they lied big time to us. White folks get so upset. Part of which is because they've been lied to by everybody. And there's a certain dissonance you have with people tend to kind of want to stick to the first thing they learned. It's a psychological tendency that people have. The backfire effect. Basically, the more information, and this is a known sociological thing, the more information you get that you're wrong, your original thought was wrong, the more you cling to your original thought. Doesn't even make sense. But that's been studied over and over again. It's like if you teach your kid that a dog is a cat and like you really kind of push it, and then when you like show them proof that it's not, I guess they're gonna think you're lying. I mean, and so that is why these people are clinging harder to their just cruel, inhumane. I mean, that's how Hitler did it. He normalized, and pretty soon he had a culture of pure hatred. So here's an example. In the months that followed the 9/11 attack, as much as people might not care for this president, but President George W. Bush repeatedly declared a war on terrorism, and said very vocally, it should not be viewed as a war on Islam or on Muslims. And that is called being a leader. That is called being a human. And so, Pat, see, you can always hide a lie, but you can't hide the truth. And that's a lot of times when I'm dealing with overt racists in this, what I do, they will, if they're adamant and they're going to leave and they won't listen, I like them to understand you can pretend that's not our real history, but it doesn't make it not our history. It's still our history. You can say what you want, but the truth is the truth. Call it what you want. Deny it all you want, but it's still true. And then they leave. But I don't try to piss people off. That's when I know they can't handle it. And some people can't, but I'll tell you, I've seen miracles. Oh my God, I've seen miracles. And that's what keeps me going. I've seen people who literally come into the group going, I'm not racist, but I don't see color. I just love everybody. We're all one race, the human race. Okay. And that's actually slightly, I mean, there's a very long, steep, anti-racism continuum. That's not at the bottom, I hate to say. They don't want to handle it, Pat says. Yeah. And Moppy, why won't tell people the Moors, black people from West Africa, ruled Europe for 700 years and built Europe's civilization? Well, I do not know a lot about European history, and so that's something that that I would have to learn a lot about. And if you know about it, help us out. Bring it on. Nails and glitter. It's easier to believe a big lie than a small truth. The lie is systemic. Yeah, I mean, the lie is perpetuated from generation to generation. And what I tell the white folks is, if you're interested in kind of what I do, I say what you can do right now, the number one thing is educate yourself. Learn every single cliche, classic denial of racism in America. And then nobody comes up with anything new. It's always the same. There's about 30 of them. Always the same. Always the same. Sorry, it's true. Learn them, learn how to debunk them, and then go out and teach every single solitary white person you find. Teach them. They weren't going to want to be taught. I am crazed over this. I'll be in line. I'll bring it up. People freak. They flip out, and I don't care. And I don't mean to say I don't care about their feelings, but I'm not saying horrible things. I'm just speaking the truth. It's just like history. Would you flip out when your history teacher tells you something? Probably not. What I tell is our real history. It's not an emotional topic. It's our history. We didn't do it, but we have denied it. We have been complicit in denying it. And each person can do their part. So, yeah, people flip out on me a lot, but I don't worry about it too much. Great point, Nails and Glitter, definitely. Gary, Pat, my American history teacher in junior high school added a lot to textbooks. That's awesome. That's awesome. My sons they had black coats, they had sundown gowns. It was like, I was like, yes. I want my kids to know the truth. If the truth is ugly, so be it. I want Poke Blocks Bros. Welcome to the show, Pokey Blocks Bros. That's cute. I hope I'm saying that right. But I'd rather have my kids hear the truth. I don't want bullshit taught to my kids. I want them to know the truth. It's history. And a lot of it's pretty freaking sick. So, I mean, not when they're like 5 years old, tell them gruesome, gross stuff, but when age appropriate, they need to know. And because otherwise, how are they going to be part of the solution if they don't know? Like a lot of folks right now, they don't know why. Oh, Anastasia. Hi. I never know who's who. Yay, I'm so happy you're here. That's funny. I'm like, Pokey Blocks Bros. That's so cute. But a lot of people don't, they don't know why we have severe poverty in like inner cities and things like that. Our government did it. We caused it purposefully, lawfully, through redlining and through de facto and de jure discrimination and racism. We did it. So the problem is they just like, when I was like 4 or 5, I'd be like, I'd pass an area in LA and I wouldn't know what black was because my parents were from the I don't see color generation, which is better than, the opposite. I've never heard them say a racist slur in their entire life, not one single one. But I also never heard them talk to me about it. So I was very confused because I happened to be born seeing it. And I was like, what's going on here? And nobody explained it. So I had to kind of like figure it out like anyone does. And so I was very confused. I'd pass through, well, I worked in Compton for a couple of years. I worked in Compton as a teacher. But I was way older. When I was little, I passed through, like East LA, and I'd see graffiti. And this is, I'm pretty old. This was in the day, and I'd see people who were darker, I guess. And I guess it kind of registered, but I didn't know why they were there. I didn't know why they lived in places that were kind of, the infrastructure was like not as beautiful. And I didn't know how, no one told me. So I had to kind of like figure it out. Hello, systemic racism. I didn't know. So anyway, Palais. Oh, I always say your name wrong. Don't hate me. I'll call you Larius. Denying it. Also, whites are benefiting from the system. Right. Absolutely. We are all benefiting. Right. Absolutely. Pat, all the fair-skinned people that are in Afghanistan and other parts of Africa are not the original people. They assumed the black identity. They're not the real people of that land. Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff's going on. Absolutely. Lakeisha, white Americans need to stop lying on us to their kids. Parents who lie to their kids negatively about black people are narcissists and lovers of greed and themselves, and it's child abuse. Yeah, no, I won't say it the way you're saying it, but like what I tell the people, and this is just my idea, I totally agree with that, because it's the reason I think it's such a horrible, horrible thing. There's like so many levels to it of why it's just sick, sick, sick. But one level, I mean, maybe not the best, the worst, but one is you are raising a child who cannot grow up a happy human being. And that's a really narcissistic, like a white privileged thing to say. I'm thinking about the kid. But what I'm trying to say is, even if you're the most racist as F-U-C-K person, and you're raising kids that are just horrible, 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 you're teaching them to hate. You are doing a disservice to them as a parent on so many levels. You cannot, I truly believe that until white folks kind of get in touch with their implicit bias, their overt racism, their covert racism, any racism, just everything, and learn a system, you can never be truly content and happy. I mean, unless you're kind of a sicko. Like, because don't tell me white folks don't see this. We're in the age of great communication technology. If you don't want to see this and know this, that's a choice. And I didn't always feel that way, but I've come to feel that way. So absolutely, it's sick. You're raising kids, you're raising hateful kids. And the opposite is to, if you're white, stop the cycle of hate. Stop the lies. Teach your children the truth and teach them how to stand up and make sure your kids know you expect them to never, ever do nothing in the face of bullying, racist acts, discrimination, and cruel stuff. Never do nothing, because nothing condones. You might as well be doing it yourself. And I know that sounds harsh, but I'm a special ed teacher, I'm a mom. I feel very strongly that if your kids don't learn to, and some kids are shy, and I get that. It doesn't have to do it. They don't have to do it when they're like 5 years old, but teach your children there's nothing more important than standing up for their fellow human being. And that's kind of my take. So speech over. Sorry. I get a little, but Lakeisha, absolutely. Martin, Kim, you were right about the government setting up the red line areas, but you should not forget the white real estate and bankers that reinforce this discrimination area exists still today. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They wouldn't give them loans. They wouldn't give them, I mean, the whole redlining thing is just kind of and absolutely, Martin, great point. I just didn't really bring that up. That's just kind of like a generic term for all the stuff that was done to make sure that Black folks were not able to accumulate wealth like the other white folks are. Like, in other words, they were not allowed to take part in the system of capitalism fully. And that's what we did. Great point. Yeah, absolutely. Moppy. Okay. They get mad at me when I tell them that this man they called Jesus was a Black man, and he was an Israelite, just like the Negroes in America. The Bible is not a religious book. It's a history book. Yes. One of the most shocking things that I personally say to white folks, and it pretty much like blows them out of the water. And it's not the first thing I tell them if I want to keep them. My goal is to keep them learning. Just push them enough. It's kind of like more of an art than a science, I'll tell you that much. Find out where the person's at. And this is what I do. I do not say, if you're a Black, brown, indigenous, mixed race person, or non-white, whatever, you have absolutely no responsibility to educate the oppressive group. Zero, none, But for me, I believe that white folks need to take it upon themselves to do this. It's just my take. And to do so, it's kind of, I mean, people will run. And you know what? Maybe they're not ready. And that's really sad. And maybe they'll come back someday. But my goal is to keep them right on the edge, but still coming back. And that's the way I make progress with some of the white folks. And it's slow. It takes a really long time. And the truth is, white folks will never get there. We will never know. We will never feel that feeling. But if we keep learning, we can move up the anti-racism continuum. And we can try to make a difference. And if we don't, we don't. But we got to try. Can't just stand there just because we didn't build the system. Just because it's like I always say, would you walk by a fellow human who is slowly drowning in a pool because you didn't build the pool? And go, yeah, I didn't build it. Of course not. Would you walk by your fellow human that you're watching have horrible things happen to them because you didn't shove them in? No. So why do we ignore and lie about racism? Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I talk a lot. Okay. Yeah, of course they get mad, Moppy. That's like shocking or something. It's like kind of I don't use that first because they like, that's huge. I have kind of an order of operations, and that's like way up there. But by the time they get there, they usually catch on to that one well. But if you tell them that first, oh my gosh, bye. They'll go crazy. Yep. Lakeisha, the same can be said for interracial parents. Stop lying and indoctrinating them to be white and not accept their black side. Yeah, that's got to be a really tough thing. And I hate when I see that. I really do hate when I see that. It's really sad. It's really, really sad when people don't do that. Pat, if you're teaching kids to be racist, then what does that say about you as a person? Absolutely, they're a horrible person. It's like the cycle of hate. You are perpetuating the cycle of hate. And one thing my friend Thomas said that I was just like misty about, because it was just a really beautiful thing. And he said this publicly, so I can say it. He was not able to be a huge part at the beginning of his child's life, but he said point blank, I broke the cycle of this lifestyle. And he didn't hate black people or anything like that. His story is much different, but he broke the cycle of the lifestyle that he was raised in. And that is beautiful. And I'm calling upon white folks to take it upon themselves to break the cycle. And it's a big thing, but it's a gift you give your children. The gift of a freedom of knowing that they can be a good person, that they get this, that what they see is right and true. There's no dissonance. There's no, it's a gift of mental health, because there is no way, I don't care what anyone says, there is no way a white supremacist or a person who's just constantly like racist and discriminating and hating, how can they be happy? Come on, there's no way. I'm just saying, how can they be happy? I don't know, just my take. Martin. Oh, bye, Martin. Thank you so much for being here. You seriously made my day. My night. I'm really happy. If you're still there, good night. Thank you so much for being here. You're so supportive. I want to get Martin on sometime. I want people to come on because everyone's got amazing stories and education. Pat, they never wanted blacks to have any wealth at all. And when there is a black person who is beaten the odds, look what they do. Just like Bill Cosby, that Andrea woman and her mother lied. Not sure about that one. Tell me more. I really got to keep up. I can't keep up with the news. I just can't. But yeah, so people who are perpetuating like all this stuff, and as leaders, it's the last thing we want. That's how they normalize it. Did you know that 50 years after, well after, 50 years after the Fair Housing Act was signed, America is still nearly as segregated as it was during President Lyndon Johnson when he signed the law. If you don't know somebody in a numerical minority group in America, then all you know is from the bias and a lot of the propaganda. And it's imperative that we somehow integrate people to connect with one another, to build these close bonds. 3 out of 4 white Americans today, according to Reuters studies, do not have a single close friend who is not white, the white people. So how the hell would they know? How do they know what's a lie, what's propaganda? How the hell would they know? They don't. So it's awful. It's terrible. Also, another thing, we got to be aware of our tendency to dehumanize. I noticed something. Pokey Blacks Bros. Check out The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein. Okay, cool. Thank you. I love when people, thank you, Anastasia, for putting out resources, because after this show, I put it out all over the place, and a lot of white folks see it, and they want to know, well, this is all nice, but what do I do? So that's awesome. Pat, her mother hates all black people, and Andrea's boyfriend told everything. Oh, is that in the video you were talking about? Is that like absolutely out of control video? Is that, sorry, I'm not sure. I didn't get the names. If that's what you're talking about, I can't wait to figure out that. That was truly the most, well, one of the most out there things I've ever seen. About dehumanization. That's what people do to justify their, cruel things. And that's why when people start talking about Christians and Jews and Muslims and black people and brown people, and they start saying, well, this person has this in it. I don't do that here on this show. We are not going to be bigots to solve bigotry. No, that's not, I mean, I can't do that. So, I mean, that's a really pet peeve. Like people go, well, it's all the Jews' fault. Well, then what the hell are you, if a black person says that to me, it's like, okay, how is that any different than what people do to you? I mean, it's ridiculous. People want to dehumanize and find a scapegoat. You will find Jewish people who are horrible. You will find Jewish people who are simply amazing. And most people are somewhere in the middle. And that's kind of how it is with most groups. But right now we have systemic racism. So if you personally aren't racist, that's great. But that's not doing anything to dismantle it. Being nice to everyone is a lovely idea, but it will not dismantle the system. One question I ask is, what would you be without racism? Wow, that's deep. That's deep. That's very deep. I don't even know how to answer that. Well, I do, but it would probably come across as, I would be personal. Well, okay, I'll go for it. And I know you're not asking me, but Anastasia, I would have been a more confident person. I didn't get it. And not making it about me, but racism, white folks don't realize racism is harming them too. They just don't know it. I mean, my friend Dixon White and I, we've talked about this, and it's not good for anybody. It's a facade, Nails and glitter. Richard Rothstein and Jacqueline Badalur did a talk together on YouTube. Cool. If you want to throw it on here, if you have time, go for it. More so, who would you be without racism? I can only answer for me because it's a very personal question. I can't answer for anyone else, but I know personally I'd be so much happier. Oh my God, I would have been so much more content. I would have been so much more settled because life would be the way I thought it was supposed to be. Like when I was really little, I knew something was wrong and nobody told me. So I thought I was seeing things. So I lost a lot of confidence because basically people were like, what are you talking about? And I was like, okay, didn't you just see that? Like, yeah, I know that for me. Moppy, this guy broke in someone's house trying to kidnap their little girl. He said it was his daughter. I'm still doing research on this story. Okay, well, bring it on when you bring it on. Pat, well, if there wasn't racism, then the world would be better and the killings and hatred would stop. Absolutely. And if there wasn't racism, we wouldn't have inner city poverty. We wouldn't have people with really horrible self-esteem because of what we do to them. We wouldn't have as much crime. We wouldn't have as much, everything would get better. I think everything would get better. It would be such a more content. It'd be the way it's supposed to be. And I mean that from a feel, not from a religious standpoint or, morals and values. It's just a feel. I can't help. I know this sounds really goofy. I can't help, but I felt this way my whole life. Life wasn't supposed to be like this. And it's just a feeling. I have no justification or no I don't have a PhD in that. It's how I was born. It's just not supposed to be like this. So let's unpack. What would cancer research or AIDS or space travel without it? Yeah, those are great questions. It would be amazing. It would change our world. It would be life-changing it's so huge. Great questions. So let me see. I am not sure if people know what's going on. Larius, we need solutions and actions. Love the conversations. Yeah, and part of the thing is this, Larius, absolutely. The reason I have this particular conversation is for one reason. It's because white folks need educating. I mean, we need educating. We need to, at the lowest levels, we're not even comfortable talking We're not even comfortable saying the word black. Oh my God. You know how many people I've said, oh yeah, it's the my black kid over there or whatever, and they're like, oh, don't say that. I'm like, what? Say what? It's not a dirty word. Actually, it might be now because we're learning the truth about, I'm learning the truth about its origins and its use and its manipulative qualities. But I guess what I'm trying to say is we are at such a low level. Education. This is education. And it might seem stupid because it's like so slow. But when you have a federal government who will not support true equality for everyone, whether it's Obama, who couldn't get anything passed because of the racist people, or it's Trump, who won't let anything pass because he's a racist people. It doesn't matter what it is. If you can't get it top down, you have to work bottom up. And that's grassroots, and it's slow as hell. It's education. It's signing petitions. It's being relentless. It's going to the marches. It's going to your Congress people. If you live in a state that's purple or red, and you see a lot of times if you're in a blue state, they won't let you write to the other. I've tried. I've tried to write to I've tried to write to actually every congressperson, and they literally will not take, if you're not in their district, they could care less. And I guess I get it, but if you're in a district that's purple or blue or red, go nuts every single day. Write to your congressperson. Tell them what you think. Go on their online, go crazy. Make noise. If you're white, make noise. Make your voice heard. And you can only make your voice heard if you're educated to do so. Because most white folks are so like, I don't want to seem like I'm racist, so I can't, I don't want to say anything. And I get that. So it's really, there are people, if you want to learn, there are plenty of experts out there, and even some white experts out there. There's a lot of black, brown, indigenous, there's experts everywhere. This information is available. People are just scared. But yes, action is so important, and we have to do everything. One of the things is putting pressure on our Congress. People are supposed to be working for us. If they were really working for us in the United States, everyone would have affordable health care. Everyone would not have crazy college loans. Everyone would have mental health. Everyone would have common sense gun laws. How do I know this? Because study after study after study says most people want it. Not 50%, not 60, but 70% and up want these things. We actually have something we agree on. Our Congress is not working for the people because of big money, big corporations, and greed. And that's all I have to say. No, you know that's not all I have to say. Okay, let us see here. I will get to people. Nails and glitter. It won't let me put the link in, but it's on the Philip Shock Matthews chat. Thank you. I've never actually been on where I've had to put things in, but I know it gives trouble. Thank you for trying that, though. I appreciate it. Anastasia, when you are asked those questions, it forces a person to think. And if they still think racism is better, that person is lost. Yeah, I mean, if they think racism is better, that some people can't be helped. I've learned that the hard way. I could spend a lifetime trying to help somebody, and if they won't, they won't. I mean, it's just, you have to want to, and that's the thing. The reason I do a lot of these things is because this is like such a minimal thing. I want white people to see a white person, I'm pretty damn white, okay, talking about racism and living through it. It's not going to kill us. And talking in a mixed crowd and talking real and not always being right, not being perfect, but fessing up if I blow it, I blow it, and I'll feel horrible. And I do blow it. But I get back on and keep trying. So just to see somebody trying I'm not a famous person. I'm not, one of these speakers that goes around. I'm just your average person that really, really gives a shit and is sick and tired of living in this effed up society that's living a lie. I can't stand it. And people are like, oh, you must have a martyr complex. I'm like, martyr complex? I'm doing this for me. I do it for me because I can't stand this bullshit. So sorry, I swore again. Okay, but I'm just saying. Yeah, the questions are amazing. Pat, see, America never to this day apologizes for wrong involuntary enslavement of Black. America doesn't apologize. America is still doing it with mass incarceration and police that aren't trained. They're trained to shoot Black people. They're not trained to de-escalate. They're not trained to be there for Black people. And sometimes they are, but most of them aren't. I have a whole video on that and a whole bunch of research. So yeah, we're not even close to, like, it's like I say every time. It's like your spouse punching you in the face and saying, forgive me for the abuse. We're still doing it. There's no forgive. We don't even admit it. So, I mean, we're not, like, we are so not even, we don't want to be. I don't get it. Pat, oh, Nails and Glitter. Anything by Jacqueline Battlora, oh, Robin DiAngelo, Richard Rustine, I found are easier to digest by white people because it comes from a white person. Yeah, and that's another thing that makes me, like, enraged. People who are brown, Black, Indigenous, African American, mixed culture, non-white, not Caucasian, are living this. Yet some white people will listen to me, a person who's not living it. That would enrage me if I was not a white person. That would enrage me. I mean, it enrages me now. They'd listen. That's the level of, they'll listen to me instead of a person who's living it. It's just unconscionable. The whole thing is just, and so that's why it's so important for white folks to step to the plate and use your privilege to educate every single person you know, because we are not getting it from top down. Not a chance. They aren't going to allow it. The richest, wealthiest elite are not going to give up their status. We're going to have to take it. It's not pretty. Thank you, Nails and Glitter, for the really good, yeah, there's some great people out there. Pat, that would be a first step. Pat, if we shut these lobbyists down, then we can get things done. Well, Citizens United and lobbyists and the conglomerates that are like I tell my kids, you can't, a lemonade stand, an entrepreneur. When I was little, you could have a little lemonade stand and actually do pretty damn well. And now it's harder than ever. So let's see here. Just a minute, please.
Come on.
Well, that was a long time ago. Sorry. That was about like 2 hours ago. No, 1 hour ago. Okay. Sorry for the interruption there. Apparently, my husband got the text message, but I sent it like a couple hours ago. Okay. Joey, they like the fire better. Joey, they like the fire better. What do you mean? Like, tell me more. Do you mean, tell me a little bit more, because I'm not sure what that was referencing since I couldn't stop blabbing. Pokey Blocks Bros. I have one question. Do you usually have people that aren't like-minded watching? Not the live show. Not the live show, but afterwards, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. But not the live show. Not usually. They'd rather live in racism. That's what I mean. Okay, thanks. Yeah, yeah. I mean, or they're so oblivious that they literally, it's the Dunning-Kruger effect. They're so oblivious, they don't even know they're oblivious. It's just like, it's like, I hate to say it, but it's like being so completely ignorant. You don't know you're ignorant. You don't even know what there is to learn because you so don't know. And that's a lot of people I know. But yeah, or a lot of people subconscious. Oh, it's very psychological. The whole thing is just, but yeah, Anastasia, I'll have people trickle in. Last 2 weeks ago, I had somebody who was having a really, really rough time with it. But he was from the UK and he was hanging in there. He was hanging in there, you know? And oh, Pat, so where does your husband stand on this? You share where you stand. So what is his take on this? Oh my God, are you kidding me? He supports me fully 1000%. He was raised in a little forest up way up north near Canada. He didn't meet a black person until he was 18 years old. And it was an exchange student who technically was, I don't know if they're brown. I'm sure what they were, but oh my gosh, he is incredibly supportive, like over the top, and he's learned all this stuff. Does he do what I do? No. Does he support me? Oh my God, yes. Like he takes, yeah. Is that kind of answering your question? Yeah. No, I couldn't have, no. I don't even want my plumber to be like over. I'm really bad. And it's because I have white privilege and I'm not impoverished. So I can be kind of a bitch about that. I don't want to give my money to somebody who's racist. I won't, I can't. And it's because I have privilege. Not everyone can do that. I don't have to work with racist people. I work at home. I work from home. That's where my job is. So I don't have to deal with racist people. It's a privilege. But, I could never, no. Yeah. Oh, ask me anything like that. I have some pretty strong feelings about that. Thank you for asking. We can shut the lobbyists down and we can get things done. And let me see here. Zoop. Great question. Where he stands is for equality. And my husband has learned so much and he's just eating it up. He just eats it up. Oh, you got the link in. Good. Awesome. I wonder what was happening. You never know. This thing's kind of touchy. Lakeisha, do I still teach at home? Homeschool. I homeschooled my kids, and I'm that mom. I homeschooled my kids, and I sent them to school. And if you want to know, we can talk later about we had some things that we had to do with some of our, because I'm a special ed teacher. So I teach very individually. Oh, Pat. Okay, I was just curious because I see you talking this, but he's never on. Yeah, he doesn't want to be on. He's not shy. He's reserved. He's like a really private person. It's like I'm so the opposite. I'm telling you my life story. He's just really private. It's just who he is. He supports me like it. You guys, it's amazing. He supports me so fully. I owe that man. But he doesn't want to. If he had to, he'd stand up in a second. He'd call out racism in a freaking heartbeat, like if it was in front of him. But he doesn't want to come on and talk. And of course, I've asked him, but no, that's not his thing. It's so funny because I'm the shy one, and he's like the comfortable one. But he's reserved. He doesn't want, not at all. But good question, yeah. You can ask me anything. I don't homeschool the kids anymore. Well, okay, I do. My little one, I do. But I teach for a company in China. I teach English, so I could stay at home with my kids. So I have a master's degree in special education, and I have 3 credentials, which allows me to teach ESL, which is English as a second language. I taught in Compton, California during the LA riots. I have a couple of videos on that. It was insane, the cruel things that were happening there. I was a kid, basically, my early 20s, and I just was like, oh my God, we had 8 shootouts in a 9-month period. When I say shootouts, I mean you hear shooting, like bam, bam, someone's going to be dead from your classroom. And you have to like go through this protocol. And like, it was a rude awakening to real life for me. So every month we had a shooting, and a couple other really horrible things that I can't really get into, every month. And my students, oh my God, they were my first babies. I didn't have kids. I adored them. I had them for 2 years in a row. So I really got to know the kids. And I loved them. Oh my God. Some of them I actually kept in touch with for a while after, when I left. It got very dangerous there. If you studied the LA riots, oh my gosh, they burned the whole place down. They didn't burn our school down. That was cool. But when we went back because kind of like settled down, and all my kids had like all new clothes, all new shoes, all new, toys. And so they didn't know. They didn't know. So I got to talk to them about it. And for most of my kids, I was the first white person they've ever had contact with, because at that time, Compton boasted the highest murder rate for all small towns. And it didn't really have, I'm sure it had some, but it really didn't have white people in it too much. Like pure white, like you look white. I mean, I'm sure people were part white and all that, but they had Latino people and Mexican people and African-American people and that, but there's only 2 white teachers at the school. So it was definitely, so the kids used to, I'll just tell you really fast, they used to want to touch my hair, which is like absolutely adorable. Now, the other way, not so adorable. If you're a person who has, African American hair or like black hair or whatever, you don't want someone touching your hair all freaking day and everybody thinking they can, okay? But when it was the opposite, I was intrigued. I was very young. I was like, of course you can touch my hair. Like they were children. I was their teacher. So I had, it's going to sound creepy, but all the little boys wanted to like touch my hair. And so they'd be like, that's so cool. And I'd be like, they were like 9 years old kids. I was like, yeah, those in the day when you could actually like be a normal person when you're a teacher. I was like, sure. So if I was hanging out at recess and I wasn't on duty, I didn't care because they were curious, but it was really cute. But yeah, let me see. I'm only asking, this is Pokeblocks, only asking because I had a person actually ask me what racist stuff has Trump said. Sorry. And I'm like, are you kidding? So I wonder if we are changing hearts and minds. Oh, yeah. I find people like I mean, there's just so many of them, of the people who need education. That's why it really does need to come from the top down. Pat, my degrees are in psychology and criminal justice. Starting to make sense. And you're also very, very, like you do your research. You really, you dig deep. It's heartbreaking because for every one person you think you're getting, just there's 100 more. I mean, there's a lot of them. I'm white and I'm devastated. It's just like, my God. I used to say, this is going to sound horrible. I used to say, losing my faith in humanity, one Trump supporter at a time. Because they don't want to get it. Just be humane, be human. Why? I could go on and I kind of do. Let me see. I don't know if I answered all these questions. Maki, if they don't repent, then America is going to witness the darkest day ever for what they did to the Negroes. Hell, even Hitler warned us about this, even though Hitler was a murderer. Yeah, I mean, the problem is, if we don't become educated and start understanding that we are not acting in our own best interest by being racist, we're not acting, we are hurting ourselves. It's like, oh no, wouldn't want that, wouldn't want to have, health care. Oh no. It's like, are you kidding me? That should be a human right. We're the worst nation healthcare wise in the Western world for women's mortality at birth. That's terrible. Other countries do way better than us. There's a reason. So when people say, oh, women have equality, are you kidding me? We're not even doing best practices here. That's a whole other story. But anyway, let me keep reading. When people say that, it's almost like they're screwing with you. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, even the most racist person knows they're just in denial. It's really terrifying. That's got to be awful. Oh, and welding and engineering. Well, you should come to my house. I could use some of that psychology. Thank God, none of the criminal justice, but the welding and engineering I could use. Oh my gosh. Gary, Pokebucks Bros. I get called racist for resisting Trump by people that have made racist or homophobic. Yeah. Oh, Gary, me too, all the time. I'm racist because I'm talking about racism. It's like, so let's just bring that around. Let's just bring it around. So, am I a rapist for talking about rapists? It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Now, Pokeblocks wants to know, yeah, Pokeblocks, bro, you have no obligation. I mean, other than your own personal, what you want to do for your life. It's so unfair. You don't get to be abused all day, only to have to educate these people. White folks need to take responsibility in educating these people. And I don't mean that like sanctimoniously. I just mean that if we see a problem, let's have our generation help. Not to be saviors, because it's called acting human. So yeah, and who are Negroes? Now I'm using that word. That is a very antiquated word for me to use, and I'm very uncomfortable with it. But I'm reading Moppy's what she's saying, and she's using those terms. And so I don't want to. It's not my place to tell a Black person, an Indigenous person, a brown person, or a non-Caucasian how to use the words. But a lot of words are not acceptable to some people, and there's no monolith. Everyone has their own opinion. So, but yeah, that's a great question. Maybe she'll tell you. She'll talk to you. But yeah, you got to be wary. Oh my God, hell, I'm wary and I'm white. So I mean, I can't imagine living it. I can't. I don't know how you do it. I don't. Pat, Gary, you will be hated because you are not agreeing on the bullshit they want to be a part of. Yeah, absolutely. I get called. Oh my God, you should see my YouTube is the worst, and I don't put everything through because it's ridiculous. I mean, it would just make for. Yeah, no, I don't know if she's, honey, I don't know if she's criticizing you. I don't know. I just, maybe she's uncomfortable with you. You can work that out with her. I mean, I have people who get really pissed at me for using the word Black. I have people get really pissed at me for using the word African American. I get people who are really pissed at me for using the word white. It's like, so it's like nothing's, I mean, obviously there are some things that are just like off the charts, but some people want to be called Israelites. Some people want to be, nobody is like just completely as one with that. So nothing bad. I don't think there's anything bad. I can't speak for her, but I don't think she meant anything bad about it. She's just like questioning it, I guess. And we're Black, y'all. It's funny because right now that term is being scrutinized like you wouldn't believe. So it's like, and I kind of get where I just go with the best practice, not for me, but for what the community as a whole are going with. And we can only do the best we can. And when people criticize me for maybe using the wrong term for them personally, I say, oh my gosh, sorry, I'll try to do that. It's hard because like I know so many people, but I try to be respectful. It's just, okay. Pokebucks. We are African descendants of slavery, but not a Negro. Nails and glitter. American descendants of slavery is also popular. Yeah. Mm-hmm. ADS. Yeah, I've read a bunch of stuff on that, and yeah, very, very popular, and they actually have a stance, and they come together. That's a group. And are you saying calling people American? I thought you meant the group. Yeah, actually calling people American descendants of slavery. Yeah, that would make sense. That would definitely make sense. Yeah, ADOS. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Robert. Biblical name, not a man-made name. But okay. I think Robert's saying, and tell me if I'm wrong, that having a biblical name, not a man-made name that whites gave us. Part of the thing is, and this is a great conversation. I'd rather talk about this than just rant on about, I have a ton of stuff, but I definitely much rather talk to you guys about this kind of stuff. I just wish this were a telephone in so that I could just be talking for real. to you, and you could be like your voice. But yeah, I think what he's trying to say is like a lot of this stuff was made up by white people, and that's not being authentic and true to people who are brown, black, indigenous. And I always say that because I want to be inclusive and not say black people includes everybody, because it doesn't. I mean, or does it? I don't know. So I try to, I'm not trying to be PC. I'm just trying to be a decent human. People are like, oh, you're so PC. No, I'm not. I actually believe that's the right thing to do. Being PC to me is saying something that you don't believe to be nice. I'm saying something I do believe to be nice. So like it's a whole another thing. Nails and glitter. I'm black and I'll always be black. I'm not Negro, colored, or a person of color. Nope. Yeah, some people, if you say person of color, they get upset. And I get it. Everyone has they have every right to, yeah. And Robert, with the biblical, yeah, it's like, maybe tell me more about what you think. I'm guessing you're saying that, like, I mean, I'll just be really honest. A lot of what I know about religion that was forced on to people who were enslaved and made into an enslaved non-human status makes me sick. That people who did this made them Christian. They had their own culture and their own everything. No, it doesn't. We are not minorities either. Things are changing, and minorities has become kind of a dirty word, and people need to keep up with it. And not everyone's going to agree. But yeah, I use numerical minority. Right. You can be black and not a descendant of, right. Absolutely. It's complicated. Right. But you know what the weirdest part is? What complicates it even more is when some white person just sees you. What do they see you as? They see you as just another whatever. And they don't get it, that not everyone is. It's really, the racism is deep, really deep. I don't want to skip anybody. Oh, okay. I'm already skipping people. Let me just check it out. Okay. Oh, okay, Pat says, when it comes to blacks in America, we must be classified as blacks because it puts us in a distinctive class of its own. Yeah. And part of that is you can't, I always differentiate, or at least I try to cognitively always remember to differentiate. It's not hard to do, but I make sure to purposefully, because there is a difference. And maybe not to some racist white person when they look at you, but historically, there is no group that had this depth of barbaric treatment. That's a whole special case. And so we don't, putting descendants of enslaved humans in is kind of like, it's basically a total injustice. And so, yeah, that's definitely. And I try to teach white folks that, but that's advanced. That's advanced. Yeah, it's a distinctive group. No, it doesn't. We are not minorities either. Yeah, see, are you talking? I'm not sure if you're talking to me. Let me just see. I'm not sure how to put that. Like, I know it's kind of, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, like, what you're, tell me more. Robert, black is a color. In Crayola box, we are shades of brown. Exactly, Robert Mock says. Oh, come on, y'all, we can do this another time. Okay, yeah, I mean, I know people have their set things, and as they should. You're an individual human being. You have to say what you feel and why you feel it. I totally get it. As a white person, that's not my business. I should just try to be kind and good to what people want and do the best I can. That's not my place to say what's right. It's not my place. But yeah, but it can be confusing because, white folks, we're always very, very afraid. Like, we don't want to be racist, like it's, and I try to get people to get over it. We're all human beings, and this systemic racism has to stop. And that's something I know we all can agree on. It has to. It can't continue this way. Yeah, and it's hard. You guys, this is such I can't imagine what a frustrating time this is I know how I feel. And I'm just so incredibly upset about all this. It's unbelievable. I mean, that's why I like to have talks, because even to vent a little. I don't know. Just to vent. But the people who need this the most aren't the people usually who come to talk about it. The people who come to talk about it are like kind of experts. Like you guys are kind of experts at this kind of thing. A lot of you are living it. A lot of you research it, study it, live it. It's the people who watch it after. There's a lot of folks who watch it after. Oh, I was saying we should not be thrown in with the people of color thing because we are not like other groups. Yeah, absolutely not. Right. Absolutely. It's not everyone's. No, it didn't work that way. Like I've said a couple times in this tonight. Absolutely. That's why I call me on it if I ever do that. That's not good. Nails and glitter. I say it boils down to culture also. Slavery and racism has stripped our African culture. So American Black culture is its own slavery by economics and powerlessness via classism. Yeah, great point. Yeah, it's very complicated. Absolutely, it's very complicated, sociologically speaking. Robert, and we are not African, which have our colors, but we are different nations and bloodlines. Yeah, I mean, it's when you take human beings and force them through, threat of death and torture to drop their culture. A lot of people think that some people who were brought over were living like animals or whatever. It's such bullshit. Have you ever studied civilization? A lot of these, I read an article the other day that some of the people who are forced to be enslaved because of these sickos, they were also forced to make their own house. And they build beautiful, like they had mad skills. And people, a way to dehumanize is to say, oh, they were all barbaric. It's just such bullshit. It's unbelievable. But yeah. Tamapi says, Mapi, did we call ourselves that? Yeah, I don't know. You guys, I'm not sure. Pat, we must be in a class of its own if we are to get any type of reparations. It must be something no one else can claim. Yeah, that's why it kind of pissed me off when I heard, and I love her. She's great, but she's human. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she said, oh, and we'll throw in this. I was like, oh, no, you won't. I got really upset. I was like, oh, no, you won't. When she was, I don't know if you guys heard her say that when she was talking about reparations. No. You can't. It's like not even close. Yeah, absolutely, Pat. Oh, my bloodline is from Africa. Nails and glitter. I'd rather be Black than African American. Yuck. Yeah, I mean, everyone has their thing, It's like Black Africans sold Black Israelites to the white men, two different people. Yeah, so definitely everyone has their preference and very understandably. Mapi, if called ourselves Negroes, Black, African Americans, all types. Oh, I've called ourselves. Okay. Oh, we've called ourselves. Right. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. And I mean, it's until Pat, minority, everyone can claim, majority, minority, everyone can claim, majority, everyone can claim. Are you talking about, I'm not sure if this is what you're talking about. It could be completely wrong. God knows I've been wrong. But are you talking about everybody is technically in a minority and a majority group? I mean, I'm a straight white woman, okay? I'm not Christian, so I'm not there. And so it's like everyone's in, I'm straight. I'm not in the LGBTQ community. So that's something I don't know about. Like there's all these different, like everyone is something. Is that kind of what you mean? But I'm not I'm not sure. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But I think what I'm going to do is I am going to tell you that I want to beg you, which is completely not a cool thing to do, but doing it anyway. The summer is kind of quiet around here for our talk shows because everyone's probably out having fun because it's like nice weather and all that. If you know anyone who would benefit from coming on and voicing their opinion, please bring them and get people to watch videos. What happens is if you watch the videos that I do, the YouTube moves them up and more white people get to them. So essentially, they won't advertise for you, but they put them in better places from what I've heard. They put them so they're more accessible. So I'm trying to, it's very hard to get the videos to the right people because the people who are not white don't need my videos. It's the white people. I make them for the white people, but they don't want my videos. So it's a kind of a, I'm truly hated. What can I say? But if you believe that it's way past time for white America to just step up to the plate and take some responsibility, and just be real, be honest, then please get people on my YouTube, get them watching videos. I have something for everybody. I have beginner series, which is nice, sweet, darling. I have a rant in your face. How could you? I have something for everybody. Actually, even when people who are super, super racist come on, they're still getting the message. They're hearing it. And maybe if they hear it 100 times, I don't know. I don't know how to stop this, but I cannot thank you guys enough. I am having, something really cool happened that I wanted to tell you before I go. If you can stay 1 second longer, there was a video put out, and I saw the video and I was blown away. It basically took the situation of people being taken away from their parents from when people were enslaved and they would take their child from them. It's like so sick. Or when they separated kids and stole their kids away the border. And it was a video done by a guy who, his video went viral and I loved it. I loved it. And of course, being the obnoxious person I am, I wrote to him and he said he'd do an interview. So I'm really, really excited. I'm going to do an interview with him. His video was amazing in my arrogant white opinion. And it was incredible. And so I'm going to definitely do a preview night for that on one of these Sundays. And Thomas is going to come on. And I've written into a group that what they do is they help, and this is something we talked about a couple of times ago, they help because there's such an extremely large number compared to the population of girls and of women who are missing. And this group deals with Black girls and women who are missing, and probably brown and everything. Not just Black or African American or brown or indigenous, just anyone non-white, I guess. They actually are a grassroots organization. And I wrote to them asking if somebody would come on because 40% of the people missing are brown, Black, indigenous, when it's women and girls. And it's 7% of the population. That's out of control. That's crazy. So that's something. And then what else do I have coming up? Still trying to get a group of people who want to come on and have a roundtable with me saying nothing but next. I just be like the person who I'm still trying to do that. Still trying to hook us up to Facebook so Facebook people can come in. So I got a lot of work ahead of me. And when I was in Philadelphia a couple weekends ago, the friend I was with was so sweet and kind enough to drop me off at a protest for people of Sudan and what's going on there. And I have to put that, I got great, these young, they were kind of like, they were young women. I guess they were girls kind of, I don't know. They were maybe 17 maybe or 16. They were young women and they did a great interview and I want to bring awareness for that. So there's a lot of stuff going on. If you believe in what I'm trying to do, please help support me, because it's a lot of people don't care. They just don't care. So the people who do, I got to kind of lean on the people who do. So thank you and good night. And I cannot thank you enough for being here. It means the world to me to have you. And PM me, okay? I will get back to you, I promise. This is really, really meaningful to me. So thank you for being here. I'll say good night. And I will not be on next week. Just one time I have to skip, but I will be right back on after that. So I won't be on this coming Wednesday. All right? Good night. Thanks for everything, you guys. You're amazing. And great comments. Right? Don't forget to say hi to me. Bye.